Hey guys, this is Ryan here at Accelerator.Solutions. Today I'm going to be going over how you can loop through multiple files within a given folder and then do something with those files, whether you're writing data to those files or reading data from those files, which is more often what I will do. This will work for both ways. It's a super easy piece of code to learn, but will save you mountains of time if you're collecting templates or updating files on a regular basis. So we'll go ahead and get started. And here we'll press Alt and F11 to open the code editor. And I've already inserted a module here. You want to make sure you're performing this type of code in a module so that it has that global access and can access the other workbooks. I typically like to rename my modules, so we'll name this loop example, and we'll start a subroutine here called loop example. And to start with, we'll need a couple of variables, a couple of string variables. So we'll call the first one my folder, and the second one my file. And the first thing that we want to do is give the user the ability to select the folder that he or she is going to loop through. And the way that we do that is with a simple with statement. And so we'll start with application.file dialog, and this has several options. You'll want to make sure that you use folder picker, and the reason that we do that is we are wanting to get the path of that folder, and if you allow file picker, obviously you're going to be selecting a file rather than a folder. Go ahead and drop in an end with here and close that in. First thing you want to do is turn off this allow multi-select, set that equals to false, and that will just allow them to only select one folder, so all the files need to be contained within that one folder. We want to make sure we show it, of course, so go ahead and show that dialog box. And then what we're going to do is we're going to set this my folder variable that we dimensioned up there equal to whatever the selected items are, and you need to put this 1 in here as an index, so that way it knows that's just part of the selected items. It needs an index. And the last thing we do here is drop in this error.clear statement. Alright, and here we want to do something you want to do before you get started here, whenever you're going to be opening and closing a lot of files in your code, is go ahead and turn off screen updating. So set that equal to false. Down here we'll go ahead and set it back equal to true, so remember to do that later. That's just going to keep all those pop-ups from coming in on your screen. Alright, and so what we need to do now is set our my file variable equal to, we're going to use this function called dir, and what that does is it accepts a path name, and that's where we set our my folder equal to that earlier. And you want to make sure you also need to concatenate onto the end of this a backslash. It's very important. Without that, your code will break. And go ahead and I always set this to VB read only. It's not gonna hurt it if you don't, but it's just good practice to set these types of variables to read only and not allow it to do anything else. All right. And next thing we want to do is we want to start a loop, and what we want to do is do while there is another file. So do while my file does not equal nothing. Essentially what happens here is our my file, using this dir function, this dir function, it gets set to the first file in this folder, and then as we go through this loop we'll use that function again and we'll set it to the next file. And essentially what this is saying is do whatever I want it to do until there are no more files. So it's going to take the first file and do it, the second file, all the way until there's no more files. So we'll go ahead and throw that loop statement in here at the end. And we'll go ahead and do workbooks.open. And we want to open the file name equal to my folder. And again, we want to concatenate in that backslash and then add to it the my file string as well. And I always like to use this update links, set that to false. What that happens is if you happen to be opening a workbook that does have links associated with it. This just goes ahead and tells it, don't worry about updating those links, so you don't get that pop-up. Because if you're looping through dozens of folders and you have to click that dozens of times, it could get annoying. All right, and here is where you would do something with your code. So what I want to do here in this situation is I'm just going to read in a message box of whatever is in cell A1. All right, and then I want to make sure that we close that file, so I don't want to end up with all these files open at the end of this, so make sure we get that closed. And since I'm just reading information, I can go ahead and save changes equals false. All right, and the last piece of this, so that way you can make sure your loop works correctly, is go ahead and set my file equal to dir, and that just sets it equal to the next file within the folder. Go ahead and indent that to make it look nice. And there we go. That should run for us, so let's see what happens. There we go. We get our file dialog pop-up box. Loop folder test is the one I set up here. Got a few things in there, so this get some pop-ups here of what is in the values. And there it goes. Loop through 4 files, and just to show you guys what that looks like, loop through all 4 of these files and then just gave me a message box of what was in cell A1 of each of these, and I just went through and pre-populated that beforehand. So guys, I hope that was helpful for you. If you need a little bit more clarification, I do have a blog post on this on my website. That link is going to be down below in the description. There's also an example file out there on my site as well that you can get to and use if you're a free member on my site. So go ahead and join if you want to get access to that file. It's got the code already in it, so you can take it and run with it from there. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, share, subscribe. I'd love to hear from you guys, so please leave questions and comments down below, and look forward to hearing from you. We'll talk to you later. Thanks.